Good morning. What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Book is entitled Lessons from a Non-Custodial Father at Amazon, Kindle, Create Space. The link will be in the description box below as usual. This was entitled Mr. Right Now versus Mr. Right. Facebook discussion that I just ripped off. Um, and this happens a lot. It's a hustle, and this is why a lot of you young women and old women are by yourselves talking about you can't find a good man, and why you say you get cheated on and everything, because you're always in a relationship with Mr. Right Now, looking for Mr. Right. And what I mean by that is there's a guy that you're having sex with that you know is not going to go anywhere, but you keep having sex with him, but you want the guy that's Mr. Right to date you, as if he'll never figure out that you got another dude. And the problem with that is very simple, because you can never serve two masters. You will love one and hate the other. So what winds up happening is you're really in a relationship with Mr. Right Now, the guy that you're having sex with, that you don't necessarily like in the long term, but you're just dating Mr. Right. So whether you know it or not, Mr. Right Now is your main dude, and Mr. Right is your side dude. And you should already know guys don't work like that, because it's a contradiction. Because if you really wanted Mr. Right, you would get rid of Mr. Right Now even before Mr. Right shows up, you know. But you don't do that. So what winds up happening is you want Mr. Right to court you. You want him to take you out on dates and get to know you and create all these memories and build this relationship with you, while he's realizing that at the end of the night, you're going to call up Mr. Right Now to sleep with. So, but he should be, but you're a prize and he should be committed to you. You feel me? And for some odd reason, you think that's going to work out. Now, we could turn this around. Just for example's sake. If you're a woman and you feel like a guy has another woman, or a sex partner or a sex buddy, that he can call up at any time, you don't really completely take him seriously as looking for somebody for real, because he's not gotten rid of who he's comfortable having sex with. So if you're going to look at a guy that way, how are you going to turn right around and act like you're not going to be looked at in that same way? But for some odd reason, you ladies do that. And then you make up these excuses. Well, you could just have male friends. Well, see, here's the problem with just having male friends. We know you're talking in semantics and you fucking your male friends. Yeah, just because you want to use the word friend, we know it's more than a friendship. You feel me? We know that your male friend probably hit that and is currently hitting that. We know your male friend probably doesn't have a woman in the picture or other women in the picture. And we can see this normally because if your friend has other women, you get jealous of your friend that's just your friend. See, that's a telltale sign if your friend is just a friend or not. Another thing about that is just using the example of the 90-day rule, like Steve Harvey thing. See, you want fidelity. You want a guy to earn you, right? When you when you want a spiritual relationship that he need that's gonna earn a sexual relationship while you're giving a sexual relationship up already. So this guy has to wait for 90 days, right? I'm just using that, but he got to wait to get your body while you're giving your body to somebody who you normally say um, is not worth your time. You know you're not going to be with this guy, so you're contradicting yourself because you're giving yourself away freely to somebody that doesn't have to wait but isn't trying to be with you and you're not trying to be with for free, but you want somebody else to earn you. I remember, I don't know how long ago it was, when they had that scandal scene when girls was like, yes, that guy, she told uh, whatever the dude name was that you gotta earn me. And guys was laughing. Like, a side chick just told a married man that he has to earn her. Really? That's what you're doing, you know. And you try and you without coming out saying it verbally, that's what your actions are doing. So truth be told, you're committed to um, your sex partner. And here's the other thing: your actions say who you're committed to and why you're committed to them. Because in action, you're answering Mr. Right Now's calls. You're answering his texts. You're going out of your way to meet Mr. Right Now in the middle of the night. You're setting up dates with Mr. Right to, when the date's over, go be with Mr. Right Now. So who you think you really booed up with? You're using Mr. Right. This is what a lot of you people do. You use Mr. Right and say you're not doing it, which you are, to go be booed up with Mr. Right Now. And then when people realize it's a pattern, because let's be honest, the pattern has certain signs. And when people recognize the signs, because if you've been around the block enough, you know what's going down. When people recognize the sign and say, oh, okay, I'm the guy that takes you out, he's the guy that tucks you in. I got you. So ain't no reason to be with you. Now what winds up happening, and some of you keep fighting, want to be with Mr. Right, when Mr. Right figures out that you're Miss Wrong. Because if you're looking for Mr. Right, you would think you're Mrs. Right. But if Mrs. Right got common sense, she won't be in a relationship with Mr. Right Now. But a lot of people don't want to admit that they're Mrs. Right Now dating Mr. Right Now, and that's who they're in a relationship with, but they're trying to masquerade as Mrs. Right. But the actions speak louder than the words, you know. But because of that, there's karma, you know. Because now you want to go out looking for somebody to be faithful to you when you wasted maybe one, two, or numerous Mr. Right's time dating you when you wind up being Mrs. Right Now because you were committed to Mr. Right Now. But now all of a sudden you want people to be faithful to you. And you can't understand why they're not when you were wasting their time. See, the Mr. Right Now versus Mr. Right game has been going on with guys since they first started talking to women and they was in high school. So more guys are accustomed to how that game works than you care to think. And it's and it evolved. You got all the nuances in it, and guess what? People figured it out. So when you think you're doing something new or your situation is different, no, you still playing a high school game. Shows you immature, shows you confused out of your mind, and you're delusional. And it plays out. So the irony of this is when you older and wind up alone and you act like you don't know why, this is why. We out.